Hey everyone, Jessica here and welcome back. In today's video I'm showcasing some stamps from Kindred Stamps and Beth Duff Designs. This is for the collaboration blog hop. So to get started I'm using the Kindred Stamps Happy Accidents and the Beth Duff Designs I'd Rather Be Glamping. And these two work beautifully together. I'm going to be making a easel card. And first I'm going to show you a little bit of the clips on how I set up the images. I colored them with Copics and then I fussy cut them out. And then I used a black memento marker to darken up those edges. That way it just looks more finished. And then I also used some Prismacolor pencils to add some slight details to all the images. So for the background, I was inspired by the whole camping theme. Sometimes when you go to like a campground, they give you a map that's kind of has these blown out portions of like where the office is or, you know, the recreational areas, stuff like that. That was my inspiration for this. So I made like a trail or a road kind of a layout with a pencil. And then I traced over that with a light tan Copic marker and then erased those lines. That way they didn't show through. And then darken the outline with a dark brown Copic marker. I also added some texture and some highlights and just small little details with the Prismacolor pencils on that background. To get started on the easel card, this is really simple to do and it's such a fun way to display your handmade card, I think. This takes a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card panel, also a piece of 11" by 4 1/4 cardstock for the card base. So I'm cutting down a piece of Neenah Solar White cardstock. This is 110, and I just cut that in half. So the panel I'm working with right now is 4 1/4 by 11. I have an example here that I had made years ago, and I'm going to be using that as a guide. So I'm doing my first at 2 3/4 inches, another score at the 5 1/2 inch mark. You're going to fold these in almost like a Z format. So you can see here that I have my example and the one I'm working on. Next thing I need to do is add on that 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 panel. Since I did a lot of Copic coloring on my panel, the back side is pretty ugly, I think. I'm going to back that real quick with just another standard card panel. Then I'm going to add some dry adhesive to that portion all the way up to the 2 3/4 inch fold. And this is where that card panel with all my coloring on it is going to sit. So the empty area on the card base, I had some of the sentiments all ready to go, and I thought I would do some ink blending or some Copic coloring on those, but I decided to keep this portion a little more simple. So I'm just going to use some brown cardstock that is already cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm going to lay that over the top of that lower portion. So to really make this bottom portion area work, so that it works as the stopper for the card front, is to pop it up. That way there is something for the card front to hit against and it won't just collapse while you're trying to display it. So for this I'm using some foam mounting tape. You could actually use, you could stack a bunch of cardstock together. You could also use just fun foam for this too. I'm going to adhere the sentiments together and I'm mounting that onto a piece of red cardstock that works well with my card panel. And now I can add that foam mounting tape to pop it up. And then you can just fold over your card front and it sits right up against that sentiment area and it just stays propped up. It looks like a little easel. I'm going to try to show you some of the angles of it so you can see a little more detail. It's just a fun way to showcase a card and it folds flat for easy shipping. Alright, you guys, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Meh, meh.